Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you my latest layout for the cut file crew. So the cut file that we're using is this sewing cut file by Paige Evans. So it's Stitching Hearts, and with it I'm going to use the Cocoa Vanilla Studio range Sunkissed. I particularly like this ombre paper, which is called Summer Lights, and I cut the cut file just off to one side. So I've got 2/3 of the heart, and I've obviously got the ombre running from side to side. So I go through all my embroidery threads and I pick out ones that are very similar to the colours in the paper. So I wasn't quite sure whether I wanted to sew it in similar lines to the paper, so starting with the yellow on the right and working across, or to start in the centre with the pale yellow and working out. I was going on a long car journey, so I wanted to get it right in my mind because I didn't sew any of this on camera. I did it all in a moving car. And here's the finished layout background, and I started on the right with the yellow and I worked my way across. You can see that I actually was jumping from one line to another, so once the needle was threaded with the yellow, I jumped and worked my way down sewing all the yellow. So I've got a couple of photographs that I really want to use with this. I want to stay with the ombre colours, and this is the 6x8 paper that matches the 12x12, and I'm going to use a couple of bits of that to actually back the two photographs. Now I have to say the sewing is a labour of love, and if you've ever sewn a cut file before you'll absolutely understand that. But it kept me busy on a car journey that was over 4 hours in total. I did actually end up buying a new cotton for one of the centre orangey stripes. Felt like the ones that I'd actually dug out weren't quite right, so I had to actually stopped at a store on my journey and pick that out. Obviously I wasn't the driver. I'm not that great at multitasking, but I'm really pleased with the effect with the sewing. It was really odd to be not doing a whole line at a time, but just to be working through the colours on the paper. But it's certainly something I would do again. It's not till I got halfway through it did I actually think, are you ever going to see this? Is it too similar to the colours? But actually I sewed it with the 6 strands of embroidery cotton, which is what Paige recommends for her stitching templates. And actually I'm really impressed with the texture that it gives. Normally I would have picked 3, but because it was actual holes that were being done by the silhouette and not like dashes, it needed the 6 strands actually to fill the holes. So I definitely would do that again, and I would recommend it. Obviously now I don't want to cover too much of this up, that would be a shame. So I've picked out flowers essentially that are in the colourways of the ombre paper, and I want to do the same. I'm going to start with reds and pinks on the left, working my way to oranges and yellow on the right. I think that the embellishment on this layout is going to be pretty simple because the sewing, even though it's on the background, as far as I'm concerned, is the star of the show. So let me tell you a bit more about the Cut File Crew. The Cut File Crew is a group of crafters that use Instagram to share inspiration. So once a month we pick a free cut file, which means that you can actually do exactly the layouts that we do, and we all provide different inspiration. We all use the same cut file in completely different ways, and you'd be really surprised how different all the layouts look. So I would really recommend you check us out on Instagram. We've got our own Instagram page, which is the Cut File Crew. It's a hashtag as well, and you will find all the previous monthly challenges, and this has been going on for a number of years, so there's loads of inspiration there if you would like to find it. So I'm just going to distress the edges of the paper behind the photographs because I think that will help lift them off the background so they don't blend in too much, and then I will start to get this stuck down. So I'm pretty happy with the horizontal collection of embellishments. As I say, I don't want to go too embellishment heavy and cover all the stitching, and in fact I don't own all of this range anymore. I've used it a number of times, but it looks like I've got just about enough to work my way across. And I'm going to also use a 3D embellishment as part of the title for the word summer, and that's from the Shenanigans store, which is a little embellishment company that I run myself, and I'll put a link to that in the comments below if you're interested. What I will say is I do ship all over the world, so if you want to try us out, very much welcome to. and I have had satisfied customers in the States. So anyway, going back to the layout, I've stuck the flowers down off camera. They're all on foam pads just to give them a bit of a lift and also help them stick on top of the sewing. And I'm just cutting some of the fronds apart that are in the range just to be able to tuck a few leaves just to break up the colour. I've kept the white around the die cuts as well and the stickers. Normally I would trim them. I always find the white a tiny bit wide on some of the cocoa vanilla ranges, but actually I think it needs that. It goes well with the photos having the white as well. So that's there to stay. So I'm looking at just positioning my title. I'm going to put a little bit of foam on the back, the lower half of the letters as well for that, so that it can be stuck down. And I found a few hearts that went with this range, and I'm going to intersperse them with the flowers too. So if you're new to my channel, it'd be great if you could give me a thumbs up and maybe subscribe. There will be new videos on a regular basis. I'm happy to answer any comments or queries at the that I've put in the comments. So I think I've nearly finished now. I'm very happy with the way that it's looking. I think there's just a couple of bits and pieces. If you've watched me before, you know that I like to have a bit of a twiddle with bits and pieces, and just embellishing as such is my favourite part. So I'm not surprised that it's taking my time, and I'm just adding some of these leaves behind the flowers. Also, if you note, I added just a flower there at the top. I think that highlights where the heart is on the page, so if you can't see it so well, you can see that I've drawn attention to it up there as well. So I'm literally coming to the last few bits and pieces, just tucking a few more leaves in, and then I come in with my enamel dots, and I'm going to start to add some centres to the flowers just to give another bit more 3D. I know I've got the sewing, it's just another texture, isn't it? So I'm going through some of the packs. I'm just trying to use colours that kind of go with the ombre paper, not necessarily with the flower. I'm just checking them out, moving them around a little bit, just to add that last... I love the way they shine a little bit, so it's just a finishing touch as far as I'm concerned. I'm also thinking that I want to add something to the title, so that is in the back of my mind as well, but we'll see how that goes. Also, you may notice there's no dates or journaling or anything on the front. That's because I'm going to add it to the back. I do like to have at least the date and maybe the place on a layout, because you never remember, even though you think you will. So I will be adding that to the back. I don't have the best handwriting, so I really don't like it on the front unless I really have to, or if I've taken my time and done it in my best writing, but it's normally a bit scruffy. If you've ever seen my project live, you'll know that my writing's got something to be desired. So I just want to add to the title, and I've got these stickers all still from the Cocoa Vanilla Sunkissed range, and I'm deciding which one I'm going to go with. And in the end, I wanted to lift it off with the backing intact, so I didn't want to ruin the sticker or ruin the layout, and I go with holiday highlights. So it says summer holiday highlights. I did toy with the idea of colouring it, but actually I decided that a little bit more white wouldn't go amiss, and I stick it down underneath the edge of the title. So here's the finished layout, and you can see the texture, and here's some close-ups too. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Check out the Cut File crew. There's loads of inspiration there. I would really recommend it, and I hope to see you here again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.